Hi friends, good evening. Welcome to Shankaran AI Study Circle. This is Dr. Harinath Reddy, Director of the Institute. Today in this particular video, we will try to discuss about reorganization of the states in India, the constitutional provisions relating to reorganization of the states in India, and then what is the context in which this particular topic is important, that we will see. In addition to this, there was a question which was asked on the procedure for state formation in 2016 TSPSC Group 1 Mains Exam 2016. That was a re-exam. In that there was a question on state formation, and that question also included, is it necessary to make a constitutional amendment when the states are reorganized in India. Then let us come back to the context in which this topic assumes importance. In 2014, in 2014, the state of Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh under Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014. So through Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014, a new state known by the name Telangana was created. And then there was a feeling among the people of the residuary state of Andhra Pradesh that this bifurcation is arbitrary. And in addition to this, even today the state of Andhra Pradesh feels that a lot of injustice is done to the successor state of Andhra Pradesh because of bifurcation of 2014. Perhaps since independence, this is the first example wherein a state is bifurcated without the consent of the concerned state legislature and without a negotiated agreement among the stakeholders and among the different regions. So this is a very bad precedent, because this will effectively can convert India into a unitary state and the states will be reduced to municipalities. So this is a wrong convention, this is a bad precedent. So this is the criticism which is leveled against the bifurcation process of 2014. And then let us come back. If you compare the provisions in the Indian Constitution relating to the state formation with other countries like America, which are federations, there are differences. In most of the countries which are federal constitutions, when the states are reorganized, when the boundaries of the states are altered, consent of the concerned state is necessary. For example, in United States of America, if you want to alter the boundaries of any particular state, the consent of the concerned state is mandatory. Unless the concerned state agrees, reorganization cannot be done. Boundaries cannot be altered. That is the reason why United States of America is described as an indestructible union with indestructible states. So there was one expression which was used with respect to United States of America: indestructible union with indestructible states. Why the union is indestructible? In America, the states do not have the right to break away from the union. Similarly, in America, in United States of America, the boundaries of the states cannot be altered. The boundaries of the states cannot be altered without the consent of the concerned states. That is why the expression indestructible union with indestructible states. But when it comes to India, the expression used is indestructible union with the destructible states. Indestructible union with the destructible states. What does that mean? Like in America, even in India, the states do not have the right to break away from the union. Like in America, even in India, the states do not have the right to break away from the union. So the union is indestructible. But when it comes to the states, the boundaries of the states can be altered without the consent of the concerned state. In India, when the states are reorganized, when the boundaries of the states are altered, the consent of the concerned state is not mandatory. So this is the difference with respect to the formation of the states in countries like India and in countries like United States of America, which are examples for true federation. Then when it comes to India, in India it is Article 3. In India, it is Article 3 which deals with reorganization of the states. Then the question is, you need to raise a relevant question. Why did the framers of the Indian Constitution deviated from the system in America? When it comes to India, why didn't we adopt the procedure of America? Why did we deviate from that system? I told that in America, when the boundaries of the states are altered, the consent of the concerned state is necessary, mandatory, compulsory. But in India, it is not necessary. What is the reason? What are the reasons? So there are a number of reasons for this. Remember, the framers of the Indian Constitution, with a lot of wisdom and with a lot of foresight, they have incorporated every provision in the Indian Constitution, and the same is true about the articles related to the state formation. Remember, when India was under the British rule, we had the British Indian provinces. Most of these British Indian provinces, they were multilingual provinces. So for example, say Madras British Indian province, then Bombay British Indian province. So people speaking different languages were part of one British Indian province. So multilingual provinces, there will be no natural cohesion among the people speaking different languages. So after India got independence on 15th August 1947, there was a strong demand for reorganizing the states on the basis of language. So there was this demand even before India got independence. Even before India got independence on 15th August 1947, well before India got independence, there was a demand for reorganizing the provinces on the basis of language. So the framers of the Indian Constitution felt that every time the state is reorganized, if a condition is put like the consent of the state is necessary, then reorganizing the boundaries of the states will become a very difficult exercise. Keeping this in mind, the framers of the Indian Constitution wanted to give flexibility to the Union government and to the Indian Parliament to reorganize the states for greater unity and integrity of India. So this is one important reason. And this belief of the framers of the Indian Constitution is proved to be right in course of time. For example, the major reorganization of the states in India, it happened in 1956. In 1956, on the basis of the recommendations of the first States Reorganization Commission. The first States Reorganization Commission was headed by Fazal Ali. So that's why this is also called Fazal Ali Commission. The other two members of this commission are H.N. Kunjuru and K.M. Panikar. Hrudaynath Kunjuru and K.M. Panikar. K.M. Panikar. So the major reorganization of the states after India's independence on the basis of the language was done for the first time in 1956 on the recommendations of a 3-member First States Reorganization Commission. So even Nehru had a fear, had an apprehension that if reorganization of the states is taken up very early after the birth of the republic, this may destabilize India. That's the reason why when the JVP committee was appointed in 1948, JVP means here Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So to look into the demand of reorganizing the states on the basis of language, in 1948, a committee was appointed known by the name JVP committee. So this committee rejected reorganizing the states on the basis of language because Nehru had a fear in his mind that if the issue of reorganization of the states is taken up in the young nation, that may undermine the stability of this country. So because of this fear, because of this apprehension, he rejected reorganizing the states on the basis of language, though he knew very well that there is a strong popular demand for reorganization of the states on the basis of language. But this was, Nehru wanted to postpone reorganization of the states on the basis of language, but he could not postpone it for long, and finally on the basis of the report of the Fazl Ali Commission in 1956, there was major reorganization of the states on the basis of language. And very surprisingly, this reorganization on the basis of language, instead of destabilizing India, has further strengthened the unity and integrity of India. And because of the flexibility provided in Article 3, reorganization of the states in 1956 on the basis of language was very comfortably completed. Then what is the flexibility in Article 3? Article 3 says, when the reorganization of the states is taken up, the President shall recommend such reorganization. Remember, the President is elected by an electoral college consisting of elected members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and also the elected members of the legislative assemblies. In other words, the President not only represents the nation, he also represents the states. Along with the Supreme Court of India, even the President of India has the constitutional duty to protect and defend the Constitution of India. So, the prior recommendation of the President is necessary for reorganizing the states. So, a bill which is meant for reorganizing a particular state must be communicated to the concerned state legislature for its views. Remember, the views given by the concerned state legislature are not binding on the union government. They are not binding on the parliament. It is merely a procedural requirement. So, the President of India will communicate the bill which is meant for reorganizing a particular state to the concerned state legislature for obtaining its views. Irrespective of the views, whether they are in favor of reorganization or against reorganization, the union government through Indian Parliament can go ahead with reorganization by enacting an ordinary law. So, here in Article 3, the requirement of the consent of the state is not put in the article, which means the union government through Indian Parliament can reorganize the states without the consent of the states. And this flexibility which was given was not abused or misused till recently, till 2014. Every major reorganization which was done after India's independence was done with a purpose, with a useful purpose, and with the prior consent of the concerned state legislature. Remember, under the Indian Constitution, it is not necessary for obtaining the consent of the concerned state legislature for reorganization. Despite this, till 2014, every major reorganization in India was done by obtaining the prior consent of the concerned state legislature through a negotiated settlement among the stakeholders and also through an independent commission looking into all these issues. But for the first time, it is in 2014, the state of Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated arbitrarily, unilaterally by the union government without obtaining the consent of the concerned state legislature and also without a negotiated settlement among the different stakeholders and among different regions. So, this happened only once in 2014, and this is not good for the country. It will become a very bad precedent, because tomorrow, and it was also said, the state of Telangana was created by the then president of UPA, the then chairperson of the UPA, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, with an intention to get strength in the state of Telangana. She hoped that TRS will be merged into INC, and she expecting that she planned for reorganization of AP. That didn't happen. So tomorrow, some other political party in power may misuse the powers under Article 3 for short-term political expediency. This is not good for the country. So this is the criticism which is leveled against the creation of the states under Article 3 in the context of bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh. I can give one more example. It is not only in 1956. In Northeast India, to meet ethnic demands, for statehood, for greater autonomy, states were organized, states were reorganized. The states in Northeast India were reorganized to meet the ethnic demands for greater autonomy and statehood, and this helped to a great extent in dealing with insurgency in Northeast India. So this is second exercise of reorganizing the states in Northeast India, also to some extent helped in protecting the unity and integrity of India. Again in 2000, when Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh were reorganized to address regional inequalities, the prior consent of the concerned state legislature is obtained. There was a negotiated settlement. So if you see the experience other than Andhra Pradesh, in all the cases, though there was no constitutional requirement for obtaining the consent of the concerned state legislature, it is obtained and there was a negotiated settlement among the stakeholders and the states were reorganized. So that was in tune with the spirit of the constitution. But only one isolated example is the state of AP. In 2014, when the state of Andhra Pradesh is bifurcated, the prior consent of the concerned, so this reorganization in 2014, creation of the state of Telangana was done against the wishes of the then state legislature. It was done in the context of public opposition to reorganization without a negotiated settlement among the stakeholders and among the regions. So this is against the spirit of federalism. This is against the spirit of cooperative federalism, which is being very much popularized in the recent context, in the recent period, especially by Narendra Modi after he became the Prime Minister. So after the creation of Niti Aayog, Prime Minister Narendra Modi keeps on speaking about cooperative federalism and competitive federalism. So bifurcation of the states without obtaining the consent of the concerned state legislature, without a negotiated settlement among the stakeholders, it goes against the spirit of cooperative federalism and the idea of federalism. So this is the context in which this topic has become important, and you need to go through Article 3. So a reorganization of the state may include increasing the area of the state, decreasing the area of the state, merging two existing states, or dividing one existing state into two or more states, and even altering the boundaries of the states. So here, under the provisions of Article 3, consent of the concerned state legislature is not required. But there is only one requirement, constitutional requirement. What is that? A bill which is meant for reorganizing a particular state must be sent to the concerned state legislature for obtaining its views. Irrespective of the views, the state can be reorganized by the parliament through simple majority by enacting an ordinary law. And every time when amendments were done to the States Reorganization Act, it is not necessary to communicate such amendment bills to the concerned state legislature for its views. So that's it about the constitutional provisions relating to the formation of states in India and the recent controversy with respect to such issue in the context of bifurcation of the state of Andhra Pradesh into Telangana and other successor state of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you.